Good evening, everybody. This is Casper from the Tropical Weather Threat Society, bringing you our nightly update on the tropics. And as we could see, we have one of the most powerful storms in recent memory sitting out here just south of Jamaica, and Hurricane Melissa. If we take a look at our 5 p.m. advisory, we have had some changes that have been made. We are currently located at 16.7 north, 78.4 west, about 140 miles southwest of Kingston, Jamaica, approximately 320 miles southwest of Guantanamo, Cuba. Maximum sustained winds 175 miles an hour. Movement is now northwest or 315 degrees at a just whopping 3 miles an hour. And it's that slow speed that's going to play a factor here that I will explain shortly. Minimum central pressure is held at 906 millibars from the 2 p.m. advisory. There is two hurricane reconnaissance planes that are currently headed towards Melissa. You have the Air Force reconnaissance plane coming up from the southeast and a NOAA plane coming in from the north. I doubt we'll see Kermit fly again for a while. I can almost guarantee that this is Miss Piggy. For folks that may not know, there are two NOAA Hurricane Hunter planes, Miss Piggy and Kermit, and then they have Gonzo, which is the upper level plane, but that's not relevant with dealing with such a monster that we are with Melissa. Okay, with this advisory, there has been some changes. The Meteorological Service of Bahamas has issued a hurricane warning for the southeastern and central Bahamas. The Meteorological Service of the Bahamas has issued a storm warning, tropical storm warning, for the Turks and Caicos. So now we have a hurricane warning currently in effect for Jamaica, most of eastern Cuba, and the southeastern and central Bahamas. We have a hurricane watch in effect for the Turks and Caicos. We have a tropical storm warning in effect for all of Haiti, all of the Turks and Caicos, and the Cuban province of Las Tunas. Bermuda, you are not out of this yet. You're next. So please continue to monitor the storm and think about making preparations for storm impact. Hazards affecting land, the most important part of a National Hurricane Center public advisory. If you go to if you are ever in the cone of uncertainty and you go to the National Hurricane Center, this segment of the public advisory should be the first place you go. Wind. Tropical storm conditions are occurring in Jamaica, and catastrophic and life-threatening hurricane force wind conditions are expected to begin tonight and continue into Tuesday. Within the eye wall, total structural failure is likely, especially in higher elevation areas where wind speeds atop and on the windward side of hills and mountains could be up to 30% stronger. So you take the wind speeds that we are showing now with the maximum wind speeds and add another 30%. Tropical storm conditions are expected to begin in eastern Cuba on Tuesday, with hurricane conditions expected to begin in the hurricane warning area by Tuesday evening. Tropical storm conditions are expected in Haiti late Tuesday and Wednesday. Hurricane conditions are expected in the southeastern and central Bahamas on Wednesday. Tropical storm conditions are expected in the Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. Rainfall. Melissa is expected to bring rainfall of 15 to 30 inches for portions of Jamaica and additional rainfall of 6 to 12 inches for southern Hispaniola through Wednesday, with storm total local maxima of 40 inches possible. Catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides are likely. Now, that 40 inches possible, folks, that is not for southern Hispaniola. That is going to be for Jamaica, where the core comes ashore. Maybe over the course of the entire event, maybe into the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, but I don't think so. I believe those 40 inches are going to be primarily for the island of Jamaica. For eastern Cuba, storm total rainfall of 10 to 20 inches with local amounts to 25 inches is expected by Monday into Wednesday, resulting in life-threatening and potentially catastrophic flash flooding with numerous landslides. Over the southeast Bahamas, total rainfall of 5 to 10 inches is expected Tuesday into Wednesday, resulting in areas of flash flooding. From the previous advisory to this one, these values have gone up for eastern Cuba and the southeast Bahamas. Those values have definitely gone up. The southeast Bahamas went up from 4 to 8, now to 5 to 10, and we had the 10 to 20, but now we have the localized amounts of 25 inches for eastern Cuba. Storm surge. A life-threatening storm surge is likely along the south coast of Jamaica tonight and on Tuesday. Peak storm surge heights could reach 9 to 11 feet above ground level near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. On the northwest coast of Jamaica, near Montego Bay, there is the possibility of 1 to 3 feet of storm surge above ground level. That would be after the storm or as the storm is beginning to emerge from the northern side of Jamaica. The winds on the western side would then become the onshore winds, as to where on the southern coast the winds on the eastern side of the circulation are the onshore winds. So that backside wind shift there into Montego Bay could lead to a little bit of surge as the storm is exiting and moving towards Cuba. There is a potential for significant storm surge along the southeast coast of Cuba late Tuesday or Wednesday. Peak storm surge heights could reach 7 to 11 feet above normal tide levels, near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. And storm surge of 4 to 6 feet above normally dry ground is possible in the southeastern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. Earlier, it was the southeastern Bahamas. Now, the Turks and Caicos Islands are also included in this 4 to 6 feet above normally dry ground, and that is possible right now. And our last but not least, we're certainly not going to forget about our surf and how we do it around here. Stay out of the water. There's no need to go put yourself in the water and be exposed to all of the rip currents and potentially giving yourself risk of becoming a statistic. Now, our 5 p.m. discussion. I've flipped the tabs up here a little bit this evening. A few hours ago, data from an Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft showed that the central pressure in Melissa had fallen to near 906 millibars. The aircraft measured maximum 700 millibar flight level winds of 161 knots, which supports surface winds of near 145 knots. In addition, low-level winds measured by a dropson in the northeastern eye wall support surface winds of 155 knots. During the time since the aircraft departed the hurricane, there has been little change in organization and no obvious signs that Melissa has weakened. Thus, the initial intensity is set at 150 knots as a blend of the surface winds estimates mentioned above. NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft will again investigate Melissa during the next few hours. They are on their way. Both planes are en route. Melissa is starting its northward turn, and the initial motion is now northwestward at or 315 degrees at 3 knots. The mid-level ridge north of Melissa continues to weaken as a deep layer mid-latitude trough moves eastward through the southeastern United States into the southwestern Atlantic. This should cause the hurricane to turn northward during the next 6 to 12 hours or so at a continued slow forward speed. And it's that slow forward speed that is then allowing for this easterly turn to occur and bring this back towards Jamaica and make landfall. After 18 hours or so, Melissa should turn northeastward with a slight increase in forward speed as the mid-latitude westerly flow becomes the dominant steering mechanism. A continued northeastward motion with a significant increase in forward speed is expected from 36 hours through the end of the forecast period. On the forecast track, the center of Melissa will be near or over Jamaica late tonight and on Tuesday, cross eastern Cuba Tuesday night or early Wednesday, and then move near or over the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos on Wednesday. After that, the cyclone could reach the vicinity of Bermuda on Thursday night. The track guidance envelope has nudged a little to the west and north since the previous advisory, and the new forecast track is also a little to the west and north of the previous track. Some fluctuations in intensity are likely during the next 12 to 24 hours due to the possibility that Melissa will start an eye wall replacement cycle. However, the previous aircraft data showed no evidence that an ERC had started, and it is possible that the upcoming aircraft may find Melissa stronger than 150 knots. Regardless, even with an ERC, it is unlikely that Melissa will weaken significantly before reaching Jamaica, and there is no practical difference in Melissa making landfall at a Category 4 or 5 intensity, since both categories produce catastrophic wind damage. After reaching Jamaica, a combination of land interaction and increasing southwesterly shear should cause weakening, although Melissa is still forecast to be a major hurricane when it reaches Cuba. Once over the Atlantic, stronger shear should cause more substantial weakening, and Melissa is expected to become extratropical by the end of the forecast period as it interacts with a large baroclinic low over the North Atlantic. The new intensity forecast has minor adjustments from the previous and again follows the trend of the intensity consensus. As we can see, still expected to be an extraordinarily powerful and historic storm impacting Jamaica. And then 120 hours post-tropical. And I will not be live when this thing goes post-tropical. I'm taking a break for a while, folks. Not going to lie. I've been doing a live every night since at least one a day since August the 4th. And I'm looking forward to Friday. I'm not going to lie to you. It'll be the first night that I have with a break for a while. Now, as we can see with the forecast cone, our tropical storm force winds definitely over the island of Jamaica. And now the forecast track has shifted slightly back from kind of in this Fort Charles, Grand Valley region, now north and westward up here towards Black River. And Hodges, Crane Corner, Parity, Pond Sign, or Pond Side, this entire area would be completely inundated by a great amount of storm surge. If it were to follow this particular track, the cone itself has nudged just a little bit westward due to the fact that it was right along the western edge of the island with the previous advisory. So there has been just a slight motion there to the north and to the west, which now brings it in towards the Black River area. So anybody from really anybody from on the south side, just make sure you're not near the coastline. There's going to be surge all along the southern port or southern portions of Jamaica. The closer you are to the core, especially there on the eastern side, you will see rising levels of surge. Now, for the folks on the western side, you're going to see the rise of water come in greatly, and then as the winds begin to shift there on the western side, that will actually blow the water out. Do not, let me repeat, do not go out there. If you are outside of an area that is receiving the core winds and you see the waters kind of blow out, maybe 2-3 feet of water starts to disappear and everything, please do not get out there. Please do not walk out there, because that water is going to end up coming back. So please, I beg of you folks, stay away from the coastline, stay away from the water. Do not mess with this one, please. I beg of you. Our guidance for Melissa with our 18Z, as you could see, very tightly clustered through the first 36 hours or so, maybe a little bit of divergence beginning here at the 48-hour time frame, and then by the time we get to the 72, as you can see, there's still some uncertainty as to exactly how it interacts and how with the trough coming off of the United States, and what kind of direction does it take? Does it take a little bit more of a westerly direction, or does it, bend that gradual east-northeast, or not east-northeast, but northeast, and then, kind of make that turn out? Bermuda, you are definitely in fire, or yeah, you're in line for this, no question about it. The HCCA 18Z consensus did shift back to the left, just a little bit to the west. I can tell you that the TVCN, I'll pull that up so folks can see it. It's very difficult to see, but it is still just a little bit to the west of the HCCA, and maybe ticked a little bit to the west with the most recent update. So yeah, that's a thing. Now here I have the Google DeepMind and its ensemble breakdown. The reason that I am showing this is because it really kind of highlights how tightly clustered this is in 50 ensembles. And I've got the Weather Lab up here, and notice where we're getting a very large, kind of agreement as far as where the Google DeepMind is concerned. Somewhere between Alligator Pond and, say, White House, there's an awful lot of these ensembles between there. Now, just probability speaking, it's not an official forecast, but probability speaking, that would be the most likely area that would see impact. And when it comes to verification, I saw it right before I was coming on live. And I just shared it out to a couple places. The verification for the Google DeepMind with Melissa has been extraordinarily good. Extraordinary. And I'll just leave it at that. It's been phenomenal. And shout out to the folks out over there at Google that have created this model that has really just kind of come in and taken the entire industry by storm. Shout out to y'all. You did a service that we have been, innovatively looking for and just wondering and hoping that it would one day appear, and y'all definitely did it. I shout out to Google and the DeepMind team. You folks are amazing. I don't know what you did. I don't know how you trained the model, but I know what you've done it's a game changer. There's no doubt about it. It really is. Our forecast advisory. Now, this is something that I did want to go over because when we look at our forecast track, we see a line. Well, that line, if you think, oh, well, that's where the center is going to go, it's this thin little thing and that. No. The eye itself, the diameter of the eye is 10 nautical miles. So you also have to keep in mind that the hurricane force winds also extend out from that as well. So when it doesn't have a very large core presentation, but in the areas just to the right of that, you will see the greatest surge value there on the southern shore. And as you can see, with maximum sustained winds of 175 miles an hour, with gusts well in excess of 200 miles an hour. But also keep in mind, that's at the surface. As the National Hurricane Center's discussion has said, that areas on the windward side of hills and mountains may have to add 30% of those numbers to those numbers. So you're looking at unbelievable potential of wind in some of these higher elevations. Please, folks, shelter in place. Don't even go outside. There is no need. One thing that I will say is that I don't see that massive expansion of the overall wind field, even when it is getting into the region of Bermuda. We don't see that blow up of wind of the overall wind field like we see sometimes with these storms this time of year as they get into the mid latitudes and then interact with the westerlies, and it causes a massive expansion of the wind field. We don't have that with this scenario. The hurricane force wind fields may expand a little bit, but it's not going to be tremendous overall size of wind with this one after it gets out of the Caribbean and moves into the southwestern Atlantic. Our reconnaissance, let's see, we've got our first drops on, and we've got our NOAA reconnaissance is starting to move in, is in the storm. We'll say maybe about 17.1 and 79.7 at that point, and our storm is 16.7 and 78.4. So still got a little ways to go. Has dropped that first drops on. And we will see from there. Let's check with our other one. And they are at 15.35 and then 73.3. So they still got a little ways to go as well. It does look like the NOAA mission will be the first one that is going to get to the core, and hopefully we will get some information that an eye wall replacement cycle has at least started, because the winds that we were looking at earlier, hey, come on now, you know, we I don't want to see anybody ever get smacked with a 210 knot wind at a 907 millibar level at seven, ooh, at 700 feet above the ground. You know, like, I'm good with that. Haha, check this out. 94% chance of the onset of a eye wall replacement cycle. I thought that we might be looking at one just by looking at the disruption here. If you look at those last frames, each one of these are 1 minute apiece. Let me hit the refresh on this. I bet. It kind of seemed like it, because if you remember, the eye was so crystal clear earlier, and now, maybe not. We lost visuals, so it's kind of difficult to see any low level cloud features. Let's see here. I wonder. Those certainly aren't going to show it. Yeah, we can try. Oh, I tried to catch the shadow on it. No, maybe not. Um, you know, that's the thing. We're gonna know here momentarily, though. With the hurricane reconnaissance, they are going to confirm this. I just hope they're safe. With what occurred to Kermit earlier, it, yeah, I just hope these folks are safe. Now, what I have here is the Halves A, and we've got Halves A set up on, oh, that's 120 hours. I was like, where are we at? We've got this set up to highlight what the potential impacts are going to be from the wind. Now, as you could see, this is the sustained winds in knots, and Halves A wants to have it absolutely just, not going to lie to you, bona fide. It would be, at this point, Halves A would be the strongest system ever to make landfall, potentially here in the Western Hemisphere at that point. That would be unbelievable. But the one thing, and again, disregarding what these numbers are, the reason that I'm showing this is that the overall wind gusts are going to be far reaching, folks. Anything in the brown is representative of our hurricane force gusts. So, as you can see, a considerable amount of the island, if we were to just go by this, it would see a considerable amount of impacts. All right, including Cuba. So, again, this is just one model. I'm trying to use this to highlight the fact that, yes, there are going to be impacts far outside of the core itself. And now I'm using the same model, and we are showing a simulated radar. And as you can see, there's a lot of those rain bands. The closer you get to the core, the stronger those rain bands are going to become. So each time, if the core is coming to you, each subsequent rain band will increase in intensity for the folks that may end up in the eye of the storm, do not venture outside. Stay in your shelter. What's going to happen is that backside storm is going to come in. It's going to come in quick, and you are going to go from potentially calm winds to 100 and what something 50, 60, whatever miles an hour wind, just like that. If you're caught outside, you are directly in the eye wall. So please do not venture outside in the eye. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to end up being, you're going to go through hell, and then all of a sudden it's going to get quiet. And human curiosity in itself is going to make people go out there. I'm not going to stop that. I'm never going to stop that. Don't go far from where you came. And go out there, take a picture, look up, and, remember that scene, and then get your behind back in your safe space and, your safe room, your shelter. Do not underestimate the power of this, especially on the backside as it is moving through. Now, we will run this forward, and now, as you can see, look at all that rain that is now going to be just dumping copious amounts of rain there on eastern Cuba. And then we shift into parts of the southeastern and central Bahamas, with some of those rain bands being close enough there to impact the Turks and Caicos in a pretty significant little way there. And then as we pull this northward, we will note that we start to get awfully close to Bermuda, and Bermuda here on the Halves A run is bullseye, right in the center of this, and then not too long after that it will make its extratropical transition. So everything right up the line. Please, folks, take this very, very seriously and rush all preparations to completion. If you are in the warned areas, and for the folks in Jamaica, stay in place. Don't go outside now. It's go time, folks. For Bermuda, you have a 67% chance. Is this the new one? Yeah, this is the new one. You didn't move very much. We have a 67% chance of tropical storm force winds, a 29% chance of those 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds, and a 10% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. Didn't go up a lot. Let me go through here. Kingston, wow, that was a change. Your hurricane force winds have come down to 18%. That's a significant change. Your 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds are down to 42%. This is kind of a good thing. At least if we can keep an area sustained enough to be able to get the supplies, the recovery efforts and everything to where they could just base and start from there. Folks, I'm not going to lie. Across the majority of the island, it's not that, say, your power infrastructure is going to get to where we just got to restore power. No, no, no. You're going to have to rebuild your entire power grid. There's not going to be telephone poles standing. There's not going to be wires standing. All your communications are going to be pretty much eliminated. And that is, that's kind of unavoidable when it comes to situations like this. The infrastructure is just not designed technologically enough yet, or innovative enough yet, to where we can avoid those types of massive impacts. We hang our power by wires on poles above ground instead of putting them below ground. So it's our infrastructure is always going to be vulnerable. For Montego Bay, your tropical storm force winds, obviously 99%, the whole island has it right now. 50 knot winds or 58 miles an hour, you are looking at an 89% chance. This is going to cause significant power outages on its own. The hurricane force winds at 72% are going to be, that's really going to damage your infrastructure there. And the core, wherever that core is, would not be surprised of seeing, unless a significant eye wall replacement cycle does take place, we're probably going to see gusts in excess of 200 miles an hour. Somewhere on that island, I would imagine, just looking at what we've got right now, somebody's going to see gusts well in excess of 200 miles an hour. That to me is just mind blowing when it comes to dealing with storms like this. Our rainfall forecast. Now, this graphic, we have had a significant change. Our lower confidence portion of the forecast is now up here. So, our lower confidence portion of the forecast is for the southeastern central Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. As far as having a more solid idea of what's going on, as we can see, we all know tremendous catastrophic rains here in Jamaica, upwards of 500 to 750 millimeters or 20 to 30 inches. Widespread 16 to 20 inches or 400 to 500 millimeters. As far as eastern Cuba is concerned, as we can see here, same scenario. We've got that 500 to 750 millimeters, and the widespread, we'll just say widespread 400 to 750 millimeters across this entire region right here. So significant rain, significant impacts, flash flooding, life threatening, all of it. It's pretty much all on the table. And we do not want to forget about our friends down here into southern Hispaniola, for the Dominican Republic and Haiti. There is still the potential for some very significant rainfall across portions of southern Hispaniola. So please, folks, we've only got and I hate to say it, just got a few more days to get through this, and it'll be over, and it'll be done. And we could pretty much put a cap on the season and say, all right, that's enough. And we'll get out of the 2025 season as quickly as we can to help these folks with their recovery process, because what's going to occur to Jamaica is going to be a generational storm. There's no doubt about it. We are going to see unbelievable damage. We are going to see true catastrophic and total damage of many, many places and areas. And it is, I hope folks are ready, because even if you don't live there, you will find that a lot of what you are going to see is going to be extraordinarily tough to deal with. No, sorry, Amanda. It's going to be very, very tough to deal with. You are going to see views and visions, and unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of fatalities. We can't reach everybody, and you can't, some people, you can't change their mind. I've seen interviews with folks saying that they've generations have dealt with hurricanes here in southern Jamaica, and that they're not going to leave because they've been through this storm, that storm, this storm, that storm. You've never been through this storm. because no two storms are the same. You've never been through Hurricane Melissa. You might have went through Hurricane Gilbert or Dean or some of the other systems that have barreled last year. You might have went through that. You didn't go through a Melissa. No two storms are alike. And this one's not Gilbert. This one's not Dean. This one is, not Beryl. This one is worse. Our rainfall forecast, I'm hesitant to show this. As we could see, it's the global models. More looking towards getting into Cuba at this point. We already know what's happening for Jamaica. That's pretty much set in stone. Cuba and the southeastern Bahamas, as you could see, the euro kind of comes down on some of your rain. Doesn't really have a ton of rain. And it looks like the euro really gets disrupted by the 1-2 punch from Jamaica, tries to reorganize and then gets punched again by the mountains of eastern Cuba, and it looks to struggle from that moment forward. Still be very formidable, but not as compact as what we see here with the GFS. Our key messages. This is very important, folks. Key message number 1 for Jamaica: remain in your safe shelter and do not venture outside. Catastrophic, life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides are expected through Tuesday. The eye walls, destructive winds, may cause total structural failure, particularly in higher elevations, leading to widespread infrastructural damage, prolonged power and communication outages, and isolated communities. Along the southern coast, life-threatening storm surge and damaging waves are anticipated through Tuesday. For Haiti and the Dominican Republic, catastrophic, life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti and southern portions of the Dominican Republic through midweek. In Haiti, extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities is likely. Tropical storm conditions are expected late Tuesday and Wednesday. Key message number 3 for eastern Cuba: heavy rainfall with life-threatening and potentially catastrophic flash flooding and landslides is expected to begin tonight. Life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds are expected late Tuesday and Tuesday night. Preparations should be rushed to completion. Key message number 4. Southeastern Central Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. Hurricane conditions, life-threatening storm surge, and heavy rainfall are expected across portions of the southeast and central Bahamas on Wednesday. Residents should follow advice given by local officials and be sure to have preparations completed by Tuesday night. Tropical storm conditions, heavy rains, and significant storm surge is expected in the Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. All right, let me see. Look for some questions. I don't see any. Okay. All right. Now, let me give you guys a get back here. I want to go back to Hal. So, as many of you know, we are good friends with Dr. Hal Needham here, Hurricane Hal. And he has, I'm going to pull his post up here. He has a GeoTrek. He has set up a YouTube channel there, his GeoTrek YouTube channel, where cameras are going to be kind of going back and forth. I do know that there are going to be other ones out there, but some folks like to watch that stuff. Because I have actually been through it before, I'm not the guy that necessarily cares to watch some of that stuff. Oh wow, what do you mean? Uh, Hold on, I got to do it a little different here on YouTube. I can't pin that. Give me a second here, guys. See, and yes, I do have permission from Dr. Needham. It's cameras that are going to go back and forth, and let's see, let's copy the link. They shift back and forth, and you will be able to watch the impacts as they unfold. There we go, and I pinned that there. Um, I honestly, Kyle, I can't. I know what it feels like to lose everything. Um, I know what that feels like personally, and when I look at this completely different because I feel what these people are going through, not just watch it, because I understand it from a very, very personal level, and that's why I it watching the destruction and stuff like that. I would rather just somebody kind of cut it and chop the video up, grab the highlights. I'll watch the highlights. I'm more interested in the aftermath and the drone footage at that point. What kind of damage has been done, the reports thereafter, and honestly, and you would know this as well. How can we help? What can we do? What can we do to help these people? Because they're gonna need it. So, guys, please feel free, go over here to GeoTrek. Um, I'm subscribed as my personal. Very rarely do I ever act as the page itself. Normally, I am just I do my personal on my own there. But please, feel free to. Those cameras will be up as long as they are powered, and as long as we receive signal. At some point, they're gonna go out because I'm anticipating power outages, especially across the majority of the western and central and western portions of the island, to where you're likely going to end up having to have your entire electrical grid rebuilt, not just restored. All right, let me see. Yeah, no, you're right, Amanda. It's there's a lot of people ready to go though. I'm proud of folks getting ready. What? We still got people on the roads. But as you can see, it's not too bad in that particular camera. Yes, it is raining. We're gonna zoom in and we're gonna roll down the road. Like you see all this. This isn't gonna be there. Like that umbrella, that umbrella is gonna disappear. This cart, that's not gonna be there. They should have tied this up. They should have definitely taken the damn umbrella down. That's just ridiculous. Whoever did that, you're certainly you're not going to have your umbrella anymore. The winds will make sure of that, no doubt about that. Not an umbrella. But again, we don't see the tremendous, tremendous rainfall. It's steady though, and that steady rain is going to add up over time. And yeah, it's only going to get worse. Um, I like to see what I see here with the pharmacy. Everything is sealed up, secured. Areas here, everybody's secured. Everybody's secured. This maybe not. Maybe looks like maybe a little bit of looting. That almost looks like the window or the door was broken. But Thank you, Dr. Needham, for setting this all up. GeoTrek, we appreciate it. Though I am going to move along. I do not want to watch that at all. Um, they finally let me back on. I'm not gonna lie. They finally let me back on the Jamaican weather website. Finally, um, they. I'm gonna try for the interactive map. I doubt it, but I had to kind of worm my way in through another way. I clicked on it earlier, and they were like, "Look!" And in big exclamation points on top of it, they were like, "Service unavailable due to too many requests." And I'm like, "Come on, guys! I left you alone for like 4 hours. The least you could do is give me the damn radar. Like, come on, man. I'm not trying to be too nasty. I just want to help." Like, don't yell at me. You didn't have to give me all the exclamation points. That was just that was too much. At that point, I was like, all right, like I'll go over here and do it this way. I think they've got the database, to where the links from the database themselves. I'll have to check. I have to get other people to look into it, but that may be where it's coming from. Is the fact that it's linking from the database, and everybody's like, look. They're like, enough's enough. We've had enough of y'all linking from the database over to here. And that may be the problem. You may have to get the address from the database and then link it back into Google and search it that way. Um, yeah, as you can see, and there it's moving very, very slow. Um, like I'm certainly not trying to be a pain for them, but I would really, really, really like to get some of this information out there. I've clicked on the radar. We'll see if we actually. Nope. There it is. Look, service unavailable. And this time they only gave me one. They didn't give me three. Due to too many requests. Yeah, they don't like me, folks. So, uh, you know, I'll find it. I'll get some radar from. I'll link through somebody else for tonight later on. So that's about all I've got for Melissa. If you guys got any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. The Eastern Pacific out here, we have Sonia. It's nobody cares about Sonia. I don't even think I'm willing to bet that the National Hurricane Center is like, look, can we just concentrate on this? They're doing like rock paper scissors to be like, all right, who the hell's going to write the advisory? Because let's be realistic here. It's at 14.4, 14.1 north, 121.6 west, moving west at 7 miles an hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,005 millibars and a maximum sustained winds of 40 miles an hour. We really want to look at the cone. I didn't think anybody wanted to look at the cone. It's not going to be anything. It's not threatening anybody. It's not doing anything but just churning out there into the open waters. If we jump out to the other portions of the world, now there was 2 earthquakes earlier today off the east of the Leeward Islands, out there in the Atlantic, kind of near the islands. 6.8, and I think the other one was 6.0 or something like that. No tsunami warning was issued, but there was 2 significant earthquakes that have occurred earlier today in close proximity and within the Atlantic Basin. Tropical Cyclone 3B. Let's take a look at our warning graphic on that. And as you can see, minimal tropical storm, 45 knots, 50 mile an hour wind, moving into parts there of eastern India. Again, India does a phenomenal job with the tropics. They do a great job of being able to communicate that information to everybody, and have a very, very well-oiled support system for recovery, evacuation, and stuff like that. So while this is there, it's not, as far as I am concerned, not really perceived as much of a threat due to the wonderful job that the government over there does with communicating threats from tropical cyclones. I've been thoroughly impressed with how they do it for many years. They've got a completely different system as far as communications go to the public than what we see here in the Western Hemisphere. And, you know, maybe some of their methodologies would work in helping folks here in the United States. But, you know, hey, what can you say? And then, of course, we have Invest 92A out here into the Arabian Sea. There's no suspect areas here into the Western Pacific, but I do know that there are a couple areas of interest out there. So please, folks, just stay weather aware. That's all I ask. All right, I'm going to check and see. All right. Oh, you're very welcome, Miss Betty. Have a wonderful evening, ma'am. All right, everybody. I am going to go ahead and sign off here for a while. I will be back again, 10:45 p.m. Eastern tonight. Before we go, actually, let's hit the refresh. Do we have a cork punch? We do. What did you get? You don't want to tell us? I can see at least the flight wind speeds are a little bit less. Pressure maybe come up a little bit, 911, 910. It's certainly not 906. We don't get the rain rate. Be able to tell if we had concentric rings and stuff, if we got the rain rate. Looks like maybe some temperature fluctuations there. Still Category 5, though. No doubt about that. Does look like it's gotten a little weaker. Maybe. Come on. No. I actually would like to have the drop-down menu, please. Thank you. That is graphic number 4. Hey, and that northwestern eye wall. We don't see extreme winds. I want to see what it is in the northeastern eye wall, but it's a little less than what we saw earlier today. And folks, I mean, they're still unbelievable values, but I'm trying to seek some type of optimism here. You know, maybe it's trying to lose some of that intensity, or at least stop intensifying. That would be nice. Let's see, where are you at? You're at 17 and 75.7. 78.4. So, yep, still a little ways to go for the Air Force reconnaissance plane. And, I mean, damned, we're not getting any rain rate or surface winds. Come on, guys. You know, if you want to keep the surface wind secret, that's fine. I don't care. I want that rain rate, because that rain rate's going to highlight for me whether you guys are looking at concentric rings and the potential of an eye wall replacement cycle. I would really, really like to have that. You can see it. It'll show up just as clear as could be if we get that data. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for a little while. And I'll be back here again at 10:45 p.m. Eastern, 9:45 Central, here on Facebook and YouTube for some special coverage. I'm going to continue to do these 4 lives at least tomorrow, and probably on Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, I think so. Oh no, today's Monday. Hey, look, I've been doing live and nothing but weather, so I don't even know what day it is. It's just all I do is flow with the storm right now. So yeah, it looks like I'm gonna do four lives on Tuesday, and probably four lives on Wednesday, Thursday. As it's getting through, maybe not four lives on Wednesday. We're gonna have to kind of play it by ear, but we're definitely doing four tomorrow, and one tonight. There's no doubt about that. And then we'll play it by ear on Wednesday. We'll probably do one Wednesday morning, maybe one Wednesday afternoon, and then the six. Definitely there on Wednesday, but we'll have to see how Wednesday night goes. And then for Bermuda, um, we'll definitely keep the train rolling for those folks as well. Although that the threat level is going to go down dramatically due to that we're not going to be looking at 175-mile-an-hour maximum sustained winds on a storm. That we will be looking at something that is going to be a little bit more tolerable, and it could be managed by the folks there in Bermuda. When we're dealing with a Cat 1, that range, Bermuda is prepared for those types of impacts. Nobody is prepared for the impact of what we see here with this right now. All right, everybody. I'll talk to y'all here in a little while. Be safe, stay weather aware. Bye for now.